Good morning. My name is Vertina Long, and I am one half of the Long's Life After Kids. Before I get started this morning, I want to remind you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so the next time I'm on, you will be notified. So I am getting ready for work, morning routine, and I was just sitting here thinking about when I was raising my kids, with this pandemic going on and everything. I'm just so thankful that I'm not raising children right now. It was hard for me when I first moved to Oklahoma City back in '96. I left and I didn't have family here. I only had a best friend at the time that had moved here a year prior. So I didn't have anybody to really help me with 6 children, because shortly after I moved here, my best friend that I had been friend with for 13 years parted ways. We had never had an argument. We debate about stuff, but never had an argument. And that was one of the main reasons why my pastor at the time did not want me to move here, because he was just like, Tina. I'm like, no, my best friend, she lives there, and she gonna help me with my kids. And he was saying, Tina, you got all these kids, and people say that they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that for you, and then it don't work out, and then you're gonna be there with all those kids by yourself. But I was so determined that no, it ain't gonna be like that. And of course, he turned out to be right. But at the end of the day, I was determined. And so I had to figure out a way to make things work. Shortly before we parted ways, I had met my husband, Demetrius, and his best friend at the church I belong to. So I wasn't, totally without anyone, because my husband, that's how we became best friends, because he stepped up and helped me with my children, him and his best friend. And so, but that kind of got me to thinking about this pandemic and parents right now who, you may not have a lot of help. I'll chime in and let me know some of the things that you're doing during this pandemic, because some people, you got to work. Parents have to work. Moms have to work. So I know with me having 6 children, at first I was a housewife. So I didn't have to work. Well, of course, they were used to mom always being home when they got home from school. But then, of course, when I moved here, I had to start working. So I had to try to figure out some things. The first thing I did when I got a job, the first job I got, I ended up getting at 7-Eleven. And because I still wanted to be there for my kids, and so I got the job at 7-Eleven, and I got the job working overnights, so that way when they got home from school, I could still be there. But eventually, I stopped working at 7-Eleven. I don't know, at the time, it was just, having to go out at night and watch the parking lot and stuff like that. I just didn't feel comfortable or safe doing that. So I ended up having to find another job, which I found Family Dollars. That was my most favorite job ever. I only made $5.25 at that job, but because when I first went, of course, like I said, I didn't have anybody to help me with my children. So I had to take them on the interview with me. So I'm like, these people are not going to give me this job because I got all these kids in this car, and they're not going to give me this job. Well, I talked to the lady, and she told me, okay, come back in the morning. We open up I don't forget what time they opened up. It may have been 9, and she may have told me to meet her at 8. I can't remember. Her name is Jean. And so, of course, I got up the next morning, and I got there before she did, you know, with my 6 kids. And she pulled up, and then she unlocked the door, and I went in. And when I stepped through the door, she said, "You're hired." And I was like, "Huh?" She was like, "You're hired." I said, "I don't have to do an interview." She said, when I pulled up this morning, you had all those babies in the car, up and dressed. You beat me here. She said, so I figured that you must really needed a job if you beat me here. And that's how I got that job. Even though I had all those kids, that's how I got the job. So, you know, I worked there for a while, and I love that job because how Jean used to talk to me. She would talk to me as if I would be a boss one day. That's how she would talk to me. And I asked her one time, why do you talk to me? Because she would say stuff like, because when you're somebody's boss one day, you're going to have to do this and you're going to have to do that. And so when I finally asked her, why do you talk to me like that? She said, because you are going to be somebody's boss one day. I know you are. And you need to have the tools to be able to handle different situations. So that's why I love that job. Miss Betty, Miss Jean, those were some of my biggest supporters when I moved here. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. You know, I joined the church like 6 weeks, because when I moved here, my son Elijah was 3 weeks old. And so then I met Demetrius at the 7-week mark, and then I ended up getting the 7-Eleven job. Then I ended up getting the Family Dollar job. And so those individuals at that job, they were some of my biggest supporters when I got ready to have Destiny. Of course, Miss Betty came to the house and stayed with all the kids while we were giving birth to Destiny. Before that, we had to take everybody with us in the middle of the night when we had to go. But anyway, that's a story too. But anyway, I want to find out what people are doing during this pandemic to make your life easier, if anything, with your kids, because that's a big transition, especially when you have a lot of kids. If you're anything like me, you know, I didn't like bothering people. Even when I was back home, I did, you know, my kids, they went with me everywhere I went, unless it was a doctor's appointment. And then at some point, I started even taking them to the doctor's appointment, because, you know, you ask people, well, can you watch them? Can you watch my kids? And, you know, they might say yeah, but they really act like they don't want to do it. So, you know, I just eventually just started taking them to the doctor's appointments with me and dared them to move. You move if you want to. And I would literally go back to the back, and they'd sit there and they wouldn't move. Something that their dad started, and I just their biological dad started, and I just had to maintain. But what are you guys doing? The people that have to go to work, the moms, the dads that have to go to work, and you don't have anybody. Are your kids still in school? Or are they staying home? Did you have to, you know, quit a job? Did you have to find another job? You know, it was times that I had to find other jobs. You know, like I said, I love the Family Dollar job, but I had child care assistance from DHS, and because I was going to school to learn how to type, because remember, I was a housewife, so I had to get my skills up if I was going to do some of the things that I wanted to do when I moved here. And so at one point I was working 3 jobs. I was working at Family Dollars. I was working at Sears in the photography department, and then I would work at Labor Ready, which is you work today, they pay today, and I would do that to buy diapers and milk and stuff like that when I needed it. And so I was using up the child care. It was beginning to start to cost a lot because the hours that, you know, I had 2 separate child care centers, and so ended up it started to cost money that I really didn't have. So I ended up having to leave Family Dollars, and I got a job at the child care center that they were attending. So just with this pandemic, you know, what are some of the things that you've had to do? What are the adjustments that you've had to make in order to make it work for you and your family? So, you know, if you get a chance to chime in today, you know, let me know. Let other parents know, because maybe you thought of something that other parents didn't think of. Eventually, you know, and when you start working, and you get child care assistance, at some point, you know, they'll start saying you making too much and you can't get this, because eventually with me working, I remember me getting excited because I had went to Francis Tuttle, got my administrative assistant certification certificate, and I had got this job with this attorney. And of course I turned that information in, and when those people came back talking about some my child care was gonna, my co-payment was gonna be $1,700 a month, the co-payment for all of my children, we knew there was no way under the sun we were gonna be able to pay that. So, you know, eventually we had to make some changes with, you know, his schedule, my schedule. So yeah, just chime in this morning. Let me know, and let other parents know, you know, what you're doing during this pandemic, if anything, to make sure that your kids have what they need, that you can get to work, or did you have to quit working to stay home? And if so, what have you done to try to replace that income that you had? So, you know, chime in. As you can see, I'm getting ready for work this morning. I am wearing the yellow and the navy blue this morning. So I'll check back later to kind of try to see if anybody posts anything. Like I said, give some ideas, because I'm telling you, it's people out there that's probably still struggling right now during this pandemic. My solution was to open up my own home child care. That way I could stay at home with my children. Because at one point I felt guilty about Destiny. She hadn't got the attention that the older 6 children, well, really not even the older 6 children, because Elijah and Jeremiah was still pretty young when I moved here. So I kind of felt bad because my oldest 4, you know, I was able to stay home with them. I was a housewife. I enjoyed my life as a housewife, but when that was all over with, hey, I had to do something different. So just chime in this morning and let me know what you're doing different. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time I'm on. Good day, and make sure you have a blessed day.